Welcome to the Marketing for Startups podcast. If you're trying to figure out marketing for your startup, then you're in the right place. In this podcast, we go high level, looking at the intersection of branding, data, and leadership to offer you a marketing playbook to grow and scale. Join me each week for in-depth interviews, tactical advice, and practical trainings. Hi, I'm your host, Victoria Hajar, veteran marketer and startup enthusiast. I promise to bring my experience and curiosity to each episode. Then together, we'll peel back the onion on this ever-changing discipline that is marketing. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive in. In today's episode, I'm talking with Olga Sinnreich, who is the co-founder at MadeUp Gossip. MadeUp Gossip is a powdered sew company started here in Florida. And actually, my first experience in investing in any company, I actually contributed to their KickStarter campaign. And so I was able to support them from day one. And now I get to interview Olga today. And our conversation was so great. It was such a rich discussion about everything from finding a co-founder to her experience launching the Kickstarter campaign and whether or not she thought it was worth it. So that's actually really juicy. To all the way to manufacturing and marketing. So if you're thinking of launching a product, this is an awesome episode to listen to, or you're actually in the midst of launching a product, I think you'll really resonate with all that Olga has to say and share. Enjoy.
Hi, how you
Hello,
doing?
Victoria.
I'm so happy to see you.
So happy to see you too. How are you?
Good. I feel like I know we haven't talked in a long time, but because I follow all your social stuff so closely, I feel like I've seen you. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. You feel like we're always in touch, right? Because it's all over social media. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. I know. Oh my gosh. Thank you for doing this, by the way. This is really
Of course, I'm excited. And I wanted to reconnect with you so much. And we were planning on going to
I know.
the women's conference. It was just at the wrong time. And trust me, for about the first month, I was totally just not myself. So it was tough.
How's your family and where are they exactly? And
they are in Donetsk. That's the eastern part of Ukraine. They are, well, they're there. They don't want to leave. There is nothing I can do to convince them to leave. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Scary. It's all of that. And sometimes we get so tired already of reading news, that you need a little bit of room to just for yourself to breathe, because you can't be in this 24/7.
I know.
It is exhausting.
I think that there's just this huge amount of helplessness too. That is just so frustrating because we're here and it's all things that happen. It's you hear about in the news and yeah, people will, it's think about all the beautiful social posts that sort of were going on on LinkedIn. I was so surprised on the outpour in LinkedIn, just people who were just Ukrainian business founders, right? Or ways that we could support, entrepreneurs, or just people telling their story and my team's here and all these things. And it's just as the weeks go by, it's so frustrating that okay, things quiet down, but things haven't changed. It's infuriating. And it's feels so you feel so impotent to do anything, it's it's hard.
Yeah, you're right. And especially being far away and, being somebody who's from Ukraine, and it's not just me, because I've talked to other Ukrainians, we all feel a little bit of guilt.
Of course.
Even do your work, or especially if you're a marketer.
Yes, I know.
Promote something because it just doesn't feel right to do that.
I know, but at the same time, though, I think that with positivity, though, and the thing, for example, the stuff that you guys share on social is it's so fun and light, and we need that too. That also has a place. It's just kind of like striking that balance, right? Of like, as a marketer too, it's like sensitivity and realizing like, and we're going to get into all the things, but like, your company, you sell soap, right? And it's like, okay, there's, and you guys do a lot of fun campaigns and all these things. And then there's all this hardship and heavy stuff in the world. But sometimes focusing on soap is like beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so I don't know. So let's start at the beginning. I really want you to remind me and give me context for, obviously I know all about MadeUp Gossip, but like for the listeners of the podcast, like introduce yourself, and tell a little bit about your story, like how you came to start MadeUp Gossip and why, because your background is so interesting. So why don't we start there?
Yeah, I'm Olga Sinnreich. I live in Gainesville, Florida. My background, it is diverse. Before I started MadeUp Gossip, I had a marketing agency. I love marketing. And my dream was to market a product, and a product that would be created by me or myself and a business partner, or something that would be founded by me. The reason for it was because as a marketing consultant, I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me, it is frustrating at times. Try to convince your client on specific marketing strategies that they don't particularly feel maybe comfortable with, or maybe it just doesn't go along with their personality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And as any brand and any company, a founder puts a lot of their personalities into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted something that I don't have to ask permission somebody to say it and to create how I want, how I feel.
Yeah.
And then luckily I met my business partner, La Cremiora, who is a chemist and who also shared the same passion for entrepreneurship. And she always had a dream to start a cosmetics company. When she was younger, she had problems with skin. She had challenging skin. And even when, as a young girl, she decided to go into chemistry for that reason.
Yeah.
And even now, after she got her PhD, she worked in multiple startups. She founded a company prior to MadeUp Gossip. She never actually started a real cosmetics company. So for her, it's a dream come true. So we both found each other, so to speak, at the challenging time of the beginning of pandemic. It was March 2020. And we decided, what can we create that would be needed? And the need was created by the pandemic because people did start washing hands more and tossing out plastic bottles and creating more waste with that. So as the hand soap powder, that was our first product. And fast forward to right now, we just launched our third.
Yeah.
So that is cool. And all of them are very nice. And we're proud of them. And we have more to show and we have more to launch. So it's kind of this explosion of creativity and cool things. On the chemistry side, the formulations are fantastic. They did not come out perfect from the get-go, but that's the good part with the startup, is as we're still small and growing, we perfect them. We listen to our customers' feedback. We talk to our customers all the time because we sell at markets and we sell at events. So that is how the company was founded. Basically, it will be a year since we launched our first product only in October. So we technically are 7 months old.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
We're still babies.
That's wild. So I think this is super interesting for anyone that's maybe trying to develop a product. Like, can you explain a little bit about the process of formulating? So just to be clear, so the whole mission statement of the company is based on the powdered concept, like the reusable, like basically, and I love it because you guys kind of do a great job of explaining, like, you're buying water, right? Like at the store, like 90 whatever % of the product is water, right? And so there's so many iterations. So you said this is you have 3 products. I know the body wash is coming out, right?
It's already came out. We have body wash on the market.
Yeah.
And last Friday, we launched facial cleanser.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's 2 facial cleansers for 2 different types of skin.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay. So I want to hear more about that, but let's go first into like, how do you approach developing a product, right? So it's like you have, okay, your partner, Dr. Q, is a chemist, and, you know, what is she doing? Is she going getting raw materials, doing them in the kitchen? But then how do you sort of start producing it?
And I will speak on her behalf. And of course, she would be the person who would give more details. But she's a brilliant chemist. And she has a very curious mind. She is a material scientist, and she looks at surface of the skin very differently than a lot of other people that develop products. So there's products that are very expensive on the market, and they have 20 different types of oils, 20 different types of vitamins, but they don't really work. You don't need that many vitamins, don't need that many good ingredients to put on your skin to be effective. Her approach is to have minimum ingredients, but the ones that work. So we have a lot of constraints. We're a startup that is self-funded.
Yeah.
So there's another very interesting part to it. So we couldn't really buy everything we wanted to try. So we had to be very selective. And honestly, just because of her extensive knowledge in materials and in chemistry and how things work, and she consults with people that she can get some feedback on cosmetics formulations, she was able to achieve this result. About 3-4 months ago, she gave a speech on entrepreneurship at University of Florida for graduate students of chemistry department. And all of them were blown away how she could achieve the result of this formulation. Because when you add powder into water, typically, because it has oils, it would separate with time. So that is how we approach this. And my part in that would be, can I bring you coffee? Can I make you happy? What can I do? Because I am not a chemist at all, but sometimes I would at least give her an idea of saying, because initially we wanted to create a foaming soap. And then I said, but you know, there are foaming soaps, refillable, and I don't care for foaming soap. I would like to have something that's real liquid. And I said, can you make that? And she said, well, let's try.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it did take hundreds of formulation to achieve the result.
And so how did you go about producing the actual product? So are you working like with a factory, or are you guys actually still at the stage where you're producing it yourself?
Yeah, so we're still making it ourselves. Everything is handmade. It was challenging for us to find a contract manufacturer because this is something that nobody makes. And for a contract manufacturer to produce powder like ours, they will have to change their production lines. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, we don't have the volumes to get them interested. There are some manufacturers that make protein powders and other types, cosmetics as well, but they don't want to put our powder on their production line because it has fragrance oils and it has other stuff that they just don't want to mix up. We are going to keep going as we're doing right now up to a certain extent, and the ideal goal is to build a manufacturing facility here in Gainesville.
Wow. And wow, that's very cool. So talk to me about, let's go back to the idea of two things I want to touch on. Let's talk about the self-funded piece, because I know that you did a KickStarter. So I want to hear about that. That was my first parlay into angel investing, quote unquote, as it contributed to your KickStarter. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of people that probably have a lot of curiosity about the process. So I'm curious, like it seemed like everything I was receiving from you guys and following from you guys, it seemed like a lot of freaking work. Like it seemed like a lot of work. And I'm curious as what that workload was and if there was the returns there. Like what was your experience?
Yeah, we completed, actually our campaign ended about a year ago, end of May. It was a 30-day Kickstarter campaign. And with the Kickstarter, you can choose the length of your campaign after 60 days. But of course, we went to different forums and we asked for opinions and talked to people that already done it. And 30 days seemed to be the best optimum number of days to run the campaign. You submit for approval your project. Let's say it gets approved and you already created the campaign, which it's not easy, but in a way it's straightforward. So what do you need to do? You need to explain how it works. You need to create engaging video or whatever video you decide to. Some people invest more in it, some others not. But this is only where your work begins. And even though it might seem like you completed the campaign, you launched it, and now it's going to go great, that is wrong. Because for this 30 days, you need to promote your Kickstarter every day and collect all the backers and try to get orders and try to increase the numbers and the number of the backers there. And how you do that. So there's two ways, out of which we were budget constrained. We couldn't run $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 ad campaigns on Facebook. A lot of companies do that. Some companies raise $500,000, $1 million. But let me tell you how they do it. They typically hire an ad agency. They pay them a lot of money. Usually these Kickstarter campaigns hardly ever have any return left. They spend a lot on the ads, but they also do have a lot of orders. So there is benefit to that. We decided to do it organically, how we could. And in that sense, I consider that was a success. Because Kickstarter still does not represent your target audience. After you complete your Kickstarter and then launch the real e-commerce website, this whole game starts all over again and it continues every day.
Yeah.
So that was the choice of the branding. That was the choice of humor that we decided to use because we feel like organically it is just cheaper to grow your company like that.
Yeah. So what has been, okay, so in terms of the growth of the company, like what has been your biggest challenges so far in terms of getting the word out there? It's just sort of the budget restraint for like running ads. Like, do you think, I mean, as a marketer, what do you think if I handed you a check for like $100K tomorrow, like what do you think, where that needs to be allocated, you think, to see like the biggest return now that you've been functioning for almost a year and you understand your clients better?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we do ask the same question to ourselves. We have not done any paid ads so far.
Yeah.
And that is the area where we think there is a big potential. But we also feel like right now, social media ads have become so expensive. And for the most part, targeting people that you need is getting harder and harder. On top of that, what we know is our target audience, a lot of those people, they are not on social media. They don't really use those, but we would like to try it. We would like to create really high-end, engaging, funny content and try ads with those. So try to run ads on TV, such as Hulu, possibly, maybe even YouTube. That's one part. That's with the ads. Next part where we would really like to invest is different types of conferences and exhibitions where we would have our beautiful booth.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go to New York or we would go to Miami to cosmetics exhibitions where there is wholesalers. They come and they look at your product. for us, it would be great because we know our product works best when people see it and when they have them in their hands, when they can smell it.
Smell it. I know. It smells so good.
Yes, that's the best. Virtually, it's definitely the best for the second time buyer, but there is still a lot of potential to explore. And we do try to work with some influencers from YouTube, people that have their channels on cosmetics. Usually our audience are about women 40 plus. But now that we're going to have more and more products, we hope that that might change as well. Yeah, so I would say marketing is the challenging part right now.
So, yeah. And so with that, I'm so interested in why create more products? What was your decision behind that? Instead of just like going forward with one product, what was the reasoning behind? Because actually launching the different and getting the packaging is essentially the same for each, I would imagine, but you have like the receptacle that you also, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the answer is simple because we have our customer base. It's growing. So when you launch a second product, you can resell a second product to your existing base because they already know the first one, they love it. So they think they'll probably like the second. So is the third and so on. And plus, we don't want one product company is not really a company. It's just a one product. It's not a real company, so to speak. So now the more variety you have, the more you can tap into different target audiences. And let's say some people don't care for soap. I mean, it's just hand soap. Nothing exciting. Well, body wash might be a little more interesting for others. And we do see that some products get more interest than the next. I can't speak about facial cleanser yet because haven't even been a week since we launched it. So we have sales on it, but we are still into the process of discovering what's going to happen, how people are going to like it. The next products will also be something that's different, that something's new and something really good. So, and also what I wanted to say is that when we launched MadeUp Gossip, we were very focused on sustainability. We thought that people would love the idea of refillable, recyclable. And we were wrong.
Yeah, okay. Let's dig into that a little bit. That's really interesting.
We were wrong. That is true that some people care about it and they're excited and they say, yes, I do try to switch to something more sustainable, low waste. And I'm always keep my eyes open to find something that's exciting and new. But the majority of our customers, they would say that is not why they buy our product.
Yeah.
So right now, what we figured out is the best way for us to sell our product is that people love it. And then the sustainable aspect to it is just a bonus.
I have to say, I totally found that in any client I've worked with that has like a sustainability part to their business, it's always like a nice to have. People are happy, but it's certainly not, for the majority, in my experience, part of the decision-making process.
No.
I think that people are much more, especially for products like yours, it's like they're much more interested is like, is it the product's clean because I'm putting it on my skin? Is it healthy for me? So it's more like they're centered more about their own personal benefits rather than the environmental benefits. But it's interesting. So like your strategy is sort of looking at lifetime value, and you're saying like, how can we cultivate like work on sort of cultivating a base, an audience base, and then like continuing to serve them, right?
Exactly.
And what has been your thought process behind the B2C versus B2B? So are you guys more focused on doing wholesale and getting like through retailers, or are you trying to mount the business as like a B2C brand?
So we are actually D2C, is a direct to consumer.
Yeah.
And only about 5% of our business is wholesale right now. And we sell our product to smaller retailers, specialized retailers that sell plastic-free, low-waste types of products. I think we're in about 7 or 8 of them around the United States. As the product is very new, right now when it's on the shelf and people don't know, even with signage, they're still not sure what it is.
Yeah.
What our hopes are is that once they start discovering, once they try them more, then we can move a little bit more into retail space and hopefully get into a larger retail. Yeah, that is the challenge with innovation, is that people don't know what it is. It looks interesting, but they're not sure how it works. So right now, when we're selling face-to-face, we do a lot of explanation and demos and samples, and then people start getting into that.
So in that sense, would you think of competition, so to speak, as like a positive thing almost? Because I was thinking just the other day, I had seen on the shelf, I'm trying to think of where it was. I want to say Publix, maybe, is that there was a box for like Grove. Grove is like it's almost like an Amazon kind of, right, for like home products. And they have like a powdered cleaning. It's not for soap. It's for like cleaning powder, like for cleaning your kitchen kind of thing. And they had like a box with the bottle and the powder. And it got me thinking, like, in that respect, if other companies start doing something similar, it's probably only going to be better for you, right? Because then the consumer starts to understand more what you're offering without there being much hesitation or question.
Yeah, so everybody who creates similar products, they right now investing their money into marketing and educating the crowd. So for us, it's good. Definitely, it's good. So we pretty confident that it would be difficult to create something. What we have, what we have is different. It's not your cheapest product that you buy for $2 refill. We have really high-end products, ingredients.
Yeah.
And it's something for the people that appreciate that it's nice. It makes your hands very nice and smooth, or your body. We have niacinamide, vitamin B3 in our body wash, which is amazing. So it's high-end ingredients at affordable price. That's how it is. And then the sustainable aspect to it comes as a bonus. I don't even think a lot of people realize that it is actually good for the planet as well.
Right. So so at this stage, right? So now you've launched 3 products, you've done the KickStarter. It's only been not even a year, more or less. So what are you really focused on at this stage?
Right now we're focused on marketing and sales. Yeah. We're thinking about getting investment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to dig into that a little bit too.
That is sort of another full-time job to just do that. Yeah. And we are not sure whether we should do it or not. Sometimes our opinions split, but we're kind of not in a hurry because we probably don't feel the pressure that we need to do that. It would definitely accelerate the growth if we had investment, but we would also want to have investment from, if it's a VC firm, from the right VC firm, or an angel that maybe would provide some sort of mentorship in marketing or connections. So yeah, but I wouldn't say that we are preoccupied with this thought. We have this thought. Maybe there will be time when we decide, okay, let's do it and let's start actively fundraising.
Yeah, but I think that's one thing that founders often don't consider, that the fundraising process is oftentimes like a full-time job. And what you don't want to do is pull your attention away from the sales and the marketing, right?
That is exactly, you just said it exactly what I think. And, there's 2 of us, and between the 2 of us, we have a lot to do. And I just think we need to keep our mind focused on sales and marketing, and good things will come just because we are hard workers. We're not afraid to go and bring our tables and our stuff and drive hours somewhere just to show our product, to sell our product. That, yeah, we love doing that. In fact, we would love to come to Miami. Maybe there will be some event that we could come as vendors. That would be great. And yes, fundraising takes up a lot of time, even though we have our pitch deck prepared. We know what we want, but it does take up energy because, they're going to be asking a lot of questions. You have to be on top of all the numbers. So it does take a lot of your time to do that.
Yeah. And I think that the other issue, though, is that there is a whole kind of can of worms to open of what investment opportunities are here in Florida. It's interesting because there's a lot of, obviously with the internet, you can reach any investor anywhere, but so much of the process is built with personal relationships, right? And there is a heck of a lot of money here in Florida, but the idea is that are there investors that are investing in DTC brands as much as sort of
tech
in the tech space? Because yes. I think there's quite a lot of people that have flocked here, especially to Miami, with the idea of getting a piece of this tech bubble that's coming, that is here,
yeah.
which is true. But I do find that there is a small number of VCs that I've run into that would do DTC, but there certainly is nice opportunity for angels, but there is so much personal relationships that need to be cultivated, I think, in order to land those investments.
That's right. I totally agree with you. Yes. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, if, I don't know, I'm thinking out loud here, but it seems to me for a product-based business, the key, or the one thing that would sort of set all the dominoes off, is focusing on that wholesale piece, getting that one distribution opportunity. Because don't you feel the direct to customer, right? So the idea is either, are you guys have a subscription based model, or are you guys doing kind of a retail model?
At the moment, we don't offer subscription. That is never a problem to add the subscription model. We don't have such a wide customer base to offer it. First of all, this is interesting with the new product. We were not sure how long customers would be using our product, how long it would take them to go through one refill. And now, through going through cycles, now we were figuring it out. So we wouldn't even be sure right away, should it be every 4 months, every 6 months? But people are not particularly excited to do any subscriptions. It doesn't mean that if we put a subscription option on our website, everybody's going to go and sign up. We probably will have maybe, I can't even imagine 5-7% people that will opt in to be on subscription base. But I don't think that makes much difference. As for retail, wholesale, yes, that is true. Wholesale takes up a lot of your margins, huge amount, to get into a huge wholesaler. And they also demand certain volume of product, which for us wouldn't be a problem. We have started a conversation with a large retailer, actually about couple of weeks ago. They approached us, and it's a very long process to onboard your product on the shelf of a large retailer. So we'll see what comes out of this. We're doing our best. We hope they like it. We hope we agree on how to sell the product, what to do with this. Again, it's all new. They don't know either. We have our suggestions how to sell them. We love selling them in starter kits in our boxes. But if you go to a store, you don't buy starter kits with 3 refills. You buy refills, or you buy refill and a bottle. And we love having so many different scents and fragrances for the soaps and body washes, and how many can we put on the shelf there. Good to us is that our product is so small and light that there's a ton of it would fit on the shelf.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about like building the company in general in Florida. Like, how has your experience been? Finding, like, sourcing people, or are you just doing everything online and everyone's like, have you gotten like developers or web managers? Like who do you have you sourced, and how's the experience been?
Great question. So Dr. Q and myself are both Eastern European women, and that is important to notice. Yeah. And as Eastern European women, we do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think the only things that we outsourced was a cartoonist who drew our cartoons.
Yes, which I love.
Yeah. Her. This was number one. And second was a designer of our bottle.
Exactly. I was thinking.
The designer of our bottle was fantastic that we found. He's an award-winning designer. We found him on Pinterest.
Oh, wow.
And he turned out to be from Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And I contacted him, and he was so excited to work on this because he likes something unusual, and we loved the bottle that he designed for us. Absolutely loved it. The rest, from the website to accounting to formulations to bringing in heavy things. Yeah. Right now, we'll do it all. And I believe this is how a real startup should function. Outsourcing things. Anyway, if you decide to start a company, make sure you have a lot of different skills, or you are willing and ready to learn those skills fast. I do the website. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it's free.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
I mean, virtually free, right? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, here,
right. What I'm saying is that I of course, there could be things that we probably need some help, but we don't have a person that does maintenance, or we never hired anybody who would help us out yet. Hopefully, we will have a lot of employees once we have large production, once we have volumes. We will have people, and this is our goal. We would love to have a facility in Gainesville that would create jobs for people, and then they would be exciting, and that we would be an exciting company to work with. So that is in our minds. This is as a dream for us to have. And right now, I mean, yes, and it's funny that there's only two of us, but we do have certain culture, right? Like when people speak of company culture, we do have our own culture.
No, and it's so important to put that from the beginning, right? Because it goes back to what you started saying. It's like with the marketing, right? Being part of the founders, like the company is an extension of the founders. Like all companies are, right? And no matter how big they get, they come from that seed, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it does. It starts with your dreams. Sometimes we discuss what we had in the dream, like we have a storefront that looks a certain way, or we always share ideas, how we like the certain stand, how we want to place our product here and there. And one of the things, trust me, we didn't know how to do at all. So we had to also figure it out. Even starting like every Saturday we sell at the market downtown Ocala. That's such a great experience. None of us felt particularly comfortable from day one to do that. And we didn't know exactly how to explain that to people in the most efficient or in the best way. Well, now, of course, we're pros.
Yeah.
But, you need to step out of your comfort zone and do things that you haven't done before. You haven't done much, and you only observed other people, how they do it. But hey, listen, this is the best. We're living our dream, even though it's our company's still a baby. We are both excited Sometimes when we're frustrated, it's not fun, of course, but I think this is the best, because I think every person needs to express their creativity. It brings so much joy. It really does.
Yeah. And I want to go back to what you said about doing all the things and that being an important part of the startup process. And I totally agree, because I think that there's a lot of, especially like, I think there's some individuals that kind of start, kind of have this enchanted idea of the startup, right? Of having a startup. And for marketing, I think you would agree, right? The value that you gain from selling at the markets. I mean, you guys are a baby company, right? But those conversations that you're having now and you're learning from right now are going to be the foundational pieces for the copy, the messaging, the promotions, all the marketing that you do. And I feel like sometimes, I mean, as we both have worked as marketing consultants, right? A lot of business owners or just businesses in general feel like they can outsource that piece. And you really can't. Like, as the founder, you need to have that connection with the customer to really get it. Like, really get it for what they need and what they understand and what their pains are and whatever, before you can build. No one else is going to solve that for you. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. And yes, and you see companies that are successful is when the CEO or whoever the founder, or two or three of them, that they are running it. They don't give it to their consultants, to their assistants. No, it's the person who runs it must do this. And I don't know, yes, maybe in certain roles you don't feel particularly comfortable. However, when it is your company, it doesn't matter. You just do it. You do it.
Well, especially, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I wonder what your thoughts are. In the startup realm, I think there's a huge understanding of the importance of founder-led sales, because most of the time, like, that's the role that at least one of the co-founders or the founder takes, is leading the sales, because they know how important it is to have that connection. But I think that there's less attention paid to founder-led marketing. And I think that there is that idea that could just be outsourced from day one, just directed and outsourced. And I think that there is an incredible value to having, the founder or one of the founders really deeply involved in marketing.
Yeah, I think it possibly could depend on the type of company. If it's a company like ours, of a consumer product company, yeah, I feel like founders must be engaged, and because it's all social media driven, especially, people like to see faces. They don't really want to see product that much. So it is important to be there. And yeah, I've never been a fan of the marketing outsource. I was consulting to startups priorly, and I was saying, you guys need to learn to be marketers, because it's expensive to hire somebody from the outside.
Yeah.
So that is a role that founders need to consider. It's a very important one, because it's a daily work. Mm-hmm. It does not end.
And it's so connected to the outcome, because you can outsource the accounting. Like, you're doing the accounting now, but if you don't touch that, it's not really going to, like, there's probably someone in the world, I know for me too, right? It's like, could do it better than I do it, and fine. But for the sales and marketing, like, for founders to truly understand that piece and drive it forward, you can hire, like, I think we can talk about this for probably ages, but like the flaw, like how the agency model is kind of flawed, right? Because a lot of times, again, when you want someone to just fix it, it's like, oftentimes it's hard to even just like, even for sales, to hire someone else to just like build your sales process and train your team and all this stuff, and have the founder be not included in that process at all. I haven't seen that happen in a successful way. Obviously, there's founders that are like Dr. Q, who's much more technical and whatever, but oftentimes people like that need co-founders like you, or are always looking for that more soft skills co-founder to help with those things, because it's really the ownership of both the sales and the marketing are just like.
Exactly. And it's interesting you brought it up. When I was still running my marketing agency and I was thinking about how great it would be to market your own product, I had this image of a business partner in my mind. And when I met you, I knew that I needed a person like that. I needed a technical person who has expertise and will be able to build something. And I think for her, it was the same thing. She felt like, so we put together a very good team where everyone and also it's enjoyable for both of us to do what we do. She enjoys her time in the lab. I enjoy my time doing marketing, social media, and so on. So that is great because you're doing it every day. You need to enjoy that.
Yeah. So tell me, because a lot of people are having this question of where and how to find a co-founder. So where did you find Dr. Q? And then also, how did you know it was right? So you just knew it was right, but was there like a courting period? Like how did you go into that partnership?
We met at a pitch startup competition event, actually. She just moved back from Pittsburgh to Gainesville. She lived in Gainesville before 10 years prior to that. And when she graduated with her PhD in chemistry, and she was interested in the startup community or in the business community. This is how we met. And we knew each other. And then at some point she had a project in mind and she wanted to ask people about their feedback. So we had a meeting and our meeting lasted for 4 hours.
Yeah.
We figured out, I think it's a combination of the fact that of the ideas she was presenting, that I found that there was a lot of originality and that she had very interesting way of thinking, different than I met in other people. And the second, possibly that we were culturally a bit similar. Like I said, women from Eastern Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got along, and it is important. You need to have the right chemistry there as well. It's, we're friends and we're business partners. Yeah. I would say that, of course, in a larger place like Miami, the ecosystem there is much bigger than here in Gainesville. And you go and meet people, connect with people, see who you get along, and just keep in mind that you will be spending with this person more time than you spend with your family. So you'd rather like them as well.
It's like a marriage. It's like a marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So, well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. So for anyone out there that wants to experience the soap, the body wash, be the first to hear about the face wash, like where can everyone follow you and find you?
Great. We have our website on MadeUpGossip.com. We are on social media on Instagram, Facebook, on TikTok. Please place your orders. Try. You can mix and match your own scents. We have fragrance-free products. They're all fantastic. And we always look for feedback. We always look for collaborations. We would love to be a part of events, especially if it's in Florida. We would have no problem showing up somewhere and meeting other people. It is exciting for us too. We understand that building relationships, building successful collaboration campaigns is very important, and it is beneficial for other companies as much as to us. So why not do that? If we can put together something fun and cool and along the way meet other people, that would be great. We're always open to that. I always look for these types of relationships.
Very cool. Well, I'll stick all of that in the show notes for the episode. But last, as marketer, I'm curious, because you guys are on TikTok, how have you been finding just your experience on TikTok, maybe as compared to like Instagram? Are you finding like it easier to get traction at all as a brand?
Not at all. In fact, I feel like there is so much content these days. I don't know if it's necessarily a sales platform. I think the more it goes on, the less. But also another very important thing to notice is that our target audience is older than, for the most part, than the people that are on TikTok. We're still doing it because there's a lot of fun things that we do and we share just because of content is fun. But I wouldn't say that we've had great success. We had a couple of our TikTok videos going sort of viral.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really translate into sales. So I don't believe in anything that is going fast and easy. I know that we have to grind and we have to go and explain to each customer how our product works. And we just hope they love it. And that usually happens. They come back, they tell their friends, and that's the only way I believe you can build something.
No, I totally agree. I think that the TikTok thing is interesting because I think there's this idea now from a lot of marketers that I've been following is that, that this huge opportunity, lives in TikTok, all those things. Yes, but the point is it's longevity and consistency. Like you cannot get around that. And as you said, even if a couple videos go viral, that's not the end of the game. That's like commit to that for the end till the end of time of just being on social, showing up, providing content, providing entertainment, because again, it is a long game. Like all of marketing is a long game and just consistent action. So that's very, very much in line with what I agree with. I agree with that. Thank you so much. This is so great. It was so great to chat with you.
Such a pleasure. And I hope we're gonna meet each other soon, have some coffee, glass of wine.
Yes.
We actually not that far from each other. So
no.
And finally, seems like it's much better now. We're not wearing masks anymore and we can travel.
I know, absolutely. And plus I think like if you're ever in any events like coming down, I'm trying to think of like events that I'm going to around Florida. Like I had been up to, I went for the female founders thing. And there's like a lot of like tech events here in Miami, but it's sort of like, I would love to, go to like women's conference like that. That's what I've sort of been like kind of in my mind of like, is there any women's conferences coming soon? So I have that on my radar. If there's any around Florida, I will let you know because I will drive to anywhere it comes. And
that would be great. That would be fantastic.
Perfect. Well, and any way I can support you, just let me know. But
thank you, Victoria. You're amazing.
Oh, stop. No, but honestly, and plus I use your product. I love it. Like it smells so good. It's so funny because I have your pump and the original, which is the one, I have several kinds, but one of them is like the original first one. What the heck was it? It smells so good.
Sea salt agave, probably.
Yes. So, and it was like in the one like guest bathroom that no one uses, but I would always sneak there just to wash my hands because it just smelled so good and feels so good. So I love it. But I think like if I were to give you like like some advice or some things that could work is I would, for your existing, anyone who's bought from you, try direct mail. Like try sending them a piece of mail if you can. Like if you've shipped them products, like I keep thinking like, for Grove or for these like meal ordering platforms or whatever, like I get these little like postcards in the mail because you think like, okay, if women are targeting your 40s and, maybe they've got kids or whatever, there's all these other brands. Like people call them junk mail, but I gotta tell you, I pay attention like with the discount code or whatever, because I think that email, like obviously, you guys send emails. That's great. You're on social, but it's just, I think that
you're right. I like that idea actually.
It's like a little bit like cut out the noise. There's so much freaking noise. And I think for direct to consumer products, it's like other brands are doing this to success. It's like I know that there's some flyers that I'm getting like for like the Matrix company or like the suitcase company or whatever. And I mean, I look at circulars. I'm like, I'm not 40 yet, but I'm almost there, and I'm your target. And it's like, it's just something different. I just feel like there's so much freaking noise with email for products, because products companies send so many freaking emails. Like, I get it, but they're sending, a lot of times these brands are sending 5 times a week.
I know, it's too much. Mm-mm.
And I unsubscribe from most, but like maybe 1 or 2 if I'm like in the market to buy in that moment. But it's like, how can you stand out? I think a direct to mail is interesting, especially if you're focused on lifetime value and you're like, let's really serve the base that we have and grow that word of mouth and grow that organic. It's like, where can we pour a little bit of investment into like a nice postcard and just send it with like a discount code or announcement of the new fragrance. I think that could be interesting. And just
that's a great idea. I really like it. I need to look into this. Why not, actually? And a lot of our customers here locally, so we'll probably, we could, that would not cost much either.
Right. I would do that, right? Because you're meeting people at the market too. So it's like, you got to get email, you got to get addresses. But then also another thing to test out is through text message, because everyone's like email, but I know that, if you guys send some funny things, like, you guys are so funny. It's like, what would it be to get like a voice note, like send a mass voice note over text of both you guys, or like a little video, like just to, it could be interesting. It's just like, what ways could you kind of do something different? Because it's like, we're cultivating this small group of enthusiasts, so you can get a little higher touch, right?
Yeah.
Could be fun. I'll be waiting for that.
Yeah, great ideas. I like it.
Right, because it's like to stay on top of mind. Because actually, the big problem with the product in general is this: is like, God, how long till they need to refill, right? And it's like, and it's gorgeous to have your product, because actually buying extra soaps, the refill bottles are so big, they take up a lot of space underneath the sink. So it's like, you could, anyway, it's about staying on top of mind. And anyway,
I agree.
Thought I would just share that. But anyway, anytime you want to pick my brain, do some market research, I'm available.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was great.
Yeah. Anything else?
I'm glad we did it.
Chatting with me.
Of course.
All right. We'll be in touch. Let me know if you find any women's conferences in Florida.
Okay, I will. Okay. Have a good day. Bye, Victoria. Bye.
Bye.
You did it. You made it to the end of the episode. Thanks for sticking around with me and listening all the way to the end. I really appreciate you as an audience member, and I hope that you found this helpful. If you did like this episode, it would mean so much to me if you subscribed, if you rate and review this podcast. It helps other people know that this podcast has something worth saying. It also would be super awesome if you could take a screenshot and share on Instagram and tag me at Ugly Ventures, UGLI Ventures, VENTURES. I am always so appreciative to hear from you, and I hope to see you back here next week on the Marketing for Startups podcast.